Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you've enjoyed the last video uploaded. I know that I had a couple comments saying that it wasn't as goofy as my older videos were, and I really apologize about that. You know, I've been trying to kind of figure out a happy kind of medium between having really high quality professional standards while still being goofy. So hopefully this video will be kind of a mix between the two of them. As you can see, I have kind of a very natural look on right now. This is my everyday makeup tutorial. Like it says in the title, it's just a kind of a nude, smoky, brown, warm eye with a kind of a poppy but still natural lip color. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, of course, leave them down in the comments below. I'm happy to help with anything. I'll have the products that I did use in this video listed in the down bar, so in case you're wanting to get any of them, you're able to do so. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get to it. Okay, so I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning, I do not want to spend a lot of time thinking about what kind of eye I want to do, or what kind, if I want to go smoky, if I want to go natural. So I like to do something kind of right in the middle. I like to do kind of a natural smoky eye, which is something that I feel like a lot of people kind of revert to. And so what I do is when I wake up, the first thing I do is I go ahead and prep my face. And when I say prep, I mean put on a lotion and an eye primer, or an eye cream, sorry. And so what I'm going to do is put on kind of a lighter lotion. I love this one by Benefit. It has a lot of kind of moisturizing properties in it that are also associated with SPF 15. So you're also getting a little bit of sunscreen. And then I love my Tarte eye primer, or why do I keep saying primer? Eye cream, because it's light, it's not super heavy and thick, and I just like to kind of put on, like I said, a light, you know, lotion so I can still get moisturizer. And moisturizer, if you didn't know already, helps prep makeup. It makes it stay longer, last longer, look better. So it's a great idea to just wake up in the morning, put on your lotion, and go get your coffee, get your school bags ready, get your clothes ready for the day if you haven't already, and move forward. So after I've let that sit for about 10 minutes, which is a tip I learned from Miss Glamorazzi, by the way, props to you, girl, I'm going to go ahead and prime my face. I love the Smashbox primers, but recently I have been kind of re-falling in love with the Stay Flawless 15-hour primer. Yes, 15-hour. And I primarily use this when I am going out for a long day of school or work, because this is a long-lasting primer. This has not gotten a lot of love in the beauty community because it's kind of thick. It's a thick stick. It's kind of a tacky consistency. And so, you know, as a stick, you think you want to put it on your face like this. And when you do that, you're getting a lot of the product on. And unless that's what you want, which a lot of people haven't liked, because if they touch their face, they'll get a streak in it, and it's almost like you've, you know, touched in a permanent position, and you won't be able to blend a scratch mark or a touch mark of your foundation, which is what I was dealing with personally. So what I found to make this primer work really well is I'll just take a very soft kabuki brush, and I'll use it, and I will just rub it across the top of the primer stick, and I will just start in the center of my face where I want the most of the product to stay, and I'll just kind of start stiffling it into my T-zone and kind of move it out. The primer is very, like I said, thick, so you'll be able to kind of feel it on your face. So just put a very, very thin layer of this primer over your face if you're using this one. I also love the Smashbox primers. I think those look really well. But when I'm going to just have literally one like set time to put on my makeup during the day, I like to make sure that I'm using something that's going to work very well. So what I'm going to do, and this is an Eco Tools kabuki brush, I'm going to make sure after I've kind of put a thin coat, you can kind of feel it over your face. I'm just going to put more of the primer where I think I need the foundation to stick the most, like over my scarring, near my nose, on my chin, and kind of up my T-zone. So now that that primer is just nice and buffed into my skin, and that's kind of taking more time than usual for a primer. So if you just have a regular primer, like a Smashbox that you just kind of rub onto your face, great, I do that too, but this is my kind of everyday look, like I said. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and take a foundation, and this is kind of a foundation that's more of a matte, but not a dry matte looking. This is the Vita Lumiere Aqua from Chanel. This is a very popular foundation. You have to shake it before you use it. As a beautiful consistency. There's a reason why it's so popular. I just put a little bit of the product on the back of my hand, and using my foundation brush, I'm just going to go ahead, take the product, starting like I said about the primer in the center of my face, and kind of work outward. I'm going to make sure that I'm going down and kind of like a downward streak, because that's the way that the peach fuzz on my face naturally grows. And just kind of start working it outward. And it depends on how much consistency you want on your face. I don't like a super thick coverage. I was blessed with my father's skin, so I have pretty good skin, and I'm not needing to use a whole lot of foundation. Whatever feels comfortable for you, do. I like to leave it very light on the kind of outer parts of my cheeks, because that's where a lot of I don't have a lot of problems in the outer banks of my face. I like to kind of put most of the product in the center. And then a tip that I do, I take the rest of the foundation that's on the back of my hand, and I kind of rub it underneath my chin. And then I go ahead and blend downward, just to make sure that the product is nice and blended down my neck. There's no neckline, because we know that that's never good. And then I kind of take this brush, which is one I highly recommend. You can get it at Ulta. It's not very expensive. It is the Real Techniques blending, like, I think it's a buffing brush or the Expert Face brush. It's a great brush. There's a reason why this thing has so much kind of hype on YouTube. And what I'll do is, after using this foundation brush, I'll go ahead and buff the foundation into my skin, just to make sure that I don't have any streaks and that the foundation will look as natural as possible. Every time I do this method, I at least have one person, compliment my skin. So if that happens, and I'm going to say I'm doing the right kind of thing. So next what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of prime the areas of my eye. So what I'm going to do is take Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. You can use any sort of primer you want, but what I like to do is take this, put a little bit under my eye area. Painterly kind of has an undertone that's pink. For me, I usually like to use something yellow, but I will use a yellow concealer to neutralize the blue under my eyes. But what I like to do is take this Painterly Paint Pot, kind of use my fingers to which have the warmth to kind of melt the product into my skin, which is going to make kind of a prep and a prime for my concealer. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyelids. What this is going to do is neutralize your eyelids, get rid of any veins, discoloration, and just make a really gorgeous kind of canvas for any shadow that you're planning on using. It works like magic. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Bobbi Brown Corrector Creamy Concealer, and I'm going to take, and this is kind of the yellowy undertone, which is going to neutralize any blue, and I'm going to take that with my ring finger, which is the lightest finger, so you won't have to do any pulling, tugging, which therefore leads to wrinkles, aging. We don't want that. We're young or we're old, whatever. We don't want to prevent more aging, so I'm going to go ahead and take this with my ring finger, apply it just in the area that is blue. So in the inner corner, where I get a lot of the shadow, right underneath the eye, and then again for the other eye. Kind of blend it downward so it doesn't like kind of accentuate the dark circles. That's not what we want. And then I'm gonna go ahead and with a concealer. Usually I don't like to use a lot of concealer. This is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Concealer. This is a long-lasting concealer. Like I said, I like to use a lot of things that are long-lasting so I don't have to touch up a lot during the day. I will just take this. I have an itchy nose. Just the littlest amount will go a long way. It's a very gorgeous, thick concealer. Great product. I'll warm it up with my fingers a little bit. And I'll just kind of dab it where I'm going to need it. Usually I put it kind of right on my orbital bone, on my chin, just to get rid of any redness. And if you have any problematic areas like blemishes, you can go ahead and cover those up. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of blend that up into the eye area just to make sure it blends in naturally and doesn't look like we're trying to cover up our dark circles. We want to look like we're naturally awake and well rested, right? Because all of us are well rested, especially when we're in college. Sarcasm. So anyway, like I said, kind of just pressing the product into my skin. And then I'm going to kind of go in right here. I have a little bit of scarring from my seborrheic dermatitis. And I'm just going to kind of add a little bit more product right into here. You know, you don't want to add too much product because you don't want it to be you want it to be too thick. And then right here, I have a little bit of redness from my nose. So I'll add a little bit of product there, kind of press it in to that area, blend it out. Same on the other side, press it in, blend out. And if you wonder why I keep looking like right here, I have my mirror right here and I don't have a viewfinder in the camera I'm looking at right now. So I don't want to be like, and you're pressing into the nose, you know, and completely miss the nose. Because then I look like a freak. Anyway, so like I said, I have a little bit of a blemish like right here in my third eye area. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of blend that out. Anyway, so we've corrected the skin. And then I'm going to go back in with my Real Techniques blending brush. And just right over where I put that concealer, I'm going to just blend it in just to make sure everything has a nice, flawless, blended look. Because I don't like that cake facey look. I mean, unless you're going for the cake face, I suggest buffing and blending. So anyway, quickly now, we're going to take a setting powder. This is the Benefit Hello Flawless. This is not a setting powder, it's a foundation, but I do like to take just my Real Techniques blush brush. It can be doubled as a powder brush, blush brush. I like to squeeze it even to make it kind of a contour brush. This is a very versatile brush. Anyway, I'm just going to take a very small tab of this powder. Usually I use like a kind of like a setting powder, something very light, and just set the areas where you've used your concealer. Start in the middle of your face, anywhere where you might get shiny. And then I like to just kind of blend outward with a very small amount of powder, because powder can sometimes dry the face out, especially when you have dry skin like I do. So now that we have our face corrected and perfected, however you want to do it, I'm going to go ahead and take my Chanel blush brush. What I love about this brush is it's very thin and it can also be very thick. So it's very good for the contour. So like I said, this is an everyday look, so I'm going to try to keep it pretty natural, not do a very heavy contour. So what I'm going to do is take kind of a light matte bronzer. This is Hoola by Benefit. I'm going to take a very small amount of it and just find those hollows of my cheeks. You can find them by just going from your ear and down to your jaw, and that's usually the hollows. And just kind of bring it down about maybe like an inch and a half, 2 inches wide of a contour, just so it doesn't look unnatural. And on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. Kind of bring it up your temples. Anything that you want to go back, which is anything you want to look smaller, you want to push back. Anything you want bigger, you're going to pull forward, like a highlighter or something. So now that I've done that, I'm going to take a little bit of the product, put it right down the edges of my nose. I already have a small nose, so I don't want to do a whole lot of that. And then I'm going to put it just kind of right into the temples of my forehead, anywhere the sun might naturally hit, to make it look like I'm not a vampire that has no life. And even though I live in Florida, I never go to the beach, because we don't want to look like that kind of person, even though if that's the kind of person you are. So kind of down the jawline, not right here, but just right kind of where you feel your jawline kind of go inward is where you want it to be. It's going to kind of make your jawline look a little more, it's going to make you look thinner. Pretty much. That's why we love the contour. And just right down the bridge of your neck. And then I'm just going to kind of take the excess and just kind of blend it in. Make sure everything looks good. My next step, I'm going to go ahead and take my Real Techniques blush brush, literally take a puff of that Hoola bronzer, and I'm just going to kind of blend in the contour and where I'd want to put blush, just to make me look like I kind of have like a natural flush of sun almost. Make it look like like I said, am not a vampire, because I'm not. Or am I? Nobody knows. Next, I'm going to go back with my Chanel brush. I'm going to take this color. It's Dandelion is probably the best dupe for it. It's pretty much like a golden, peachy, light pink color. Very natural. This is from the Benefit collection. I'll try to put down something that looks like it below. Instead of using a highlighter, because I don't want to really make it look too extreme, this is already have a little shimmer in it, so I'm able to just kind of use this blush as a highlighter. And what I'm going to do is smile and not go on the apples of my cheeks, because even though I still have a lot of elasticity in my skin, I want to smile and go right above the apples of my cheeks. And blend backwards into my temples and backwards towards my ear. So that's going to give a nice natural flush to the cheeks and not make it look like your cheeks are sagging. Because if you smile and then drop your smile, that's where the apples are. That's not what you want your blush. You want your blush to make your cheeks look up and flushed. So just kind of think of where your cheeks naturally flush, and just add a little bit of blush. Continue to blend. Always blend. Even if you don't need to blend, blend. So anyway, so we've already primed our eyes, and we're going to move forward into our quick natural eye look. Obviously, this is taking longer because I'm talking, but if you are in a hurry, this is a great look to do, especially if you have similar colors. I'll try to find dupes down below, but I will not guarantee anything. So first, what I'm going to do is take a really nice, big, fluffy blending brush. This is, I think it's like 224 by MAC. You can get it, there's a Real Techniques one that's great, but this is one that I'm going to use. I'm going to take my bronzer, my Hoola that I use. It's a matte bronzer, great for like a transition color between your lid and your highlight. I'm going to take my fluffy blending brush, go ahead and tap that in there. I'm just going to go right into the hollows of my eyes, right into the crease. If you can't find your crease, just take your finger, kind of touch where your eyeball kind of feels like that inner area. Might sound a little gross, but that's where your contour is going to be for your eyes. So go ahead and take that, take your fluffy blending brush, and in a kind of a circular and windshield wiper motion, go ahead and add in the color in a windshield wiper motion to the inner part of your eye. So kind of a circle out here, windshield wiper in. Depending on your eye shape is how the contour is going to look. So pretty much what that's going to do is not only create a great transitional color for your lid color and your highlight color on your brow, like I said, but it'll also create a really lovely canvas to kind of warm up the eye and make your eyeshadows look a lot more natural, so to speak. Because if we're going for an everyday look, we want something natural and not overdone, right? Right. Now, I personally think that blending brushes are the only brush someone needs. I understand that eyeshadow brushes create a lot more of like a kind of a denser and a thicker color, but I think that that's very easily achievable with a blending brush. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Naked pigment. Naked is a pigment by MAC. It has a very kind of subtle sheen to it. It's lighter. It looks different on everybody. It's gorgeous. It can be used as a highlight, as a shadow color, and today I'm going to just take a little bit of the pigment. I've had this forever, and what I love about pigments is they're so highly pigmented that you're able to get a lot of color out of them. So what I'm going to do is take this color, I'm going to press it into the inner part of my eye and on the lid area. So and you're going to really think about blending it back kind of over the lid, trying to avoid the outer third just so we can really deepen up that part and not make it look too overdone. Really concentrating that color in the inner part of the eye and kind of gradiating it back black. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the access color. I'm going to kind of sweep it back over just to make it kind of blend well. And as you can see, it kind of has this very gorgeous kind of natural sheen. It looks like your natural skin tone, but a little bit more glowy, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is take a liner brush and with a little bit of the product on it, I'm just going to line the inner rim of my eye just to make sure that color is being consistent throughout the eyelid. Or the eyelid, the tutorial. Eyelid wasn't even close. What was I thinking? Okay, so now that we have our eyelids beautifully put with any natural color, use any color that works well for you. It might not be Naked, but I think Naked is a great pigment to have in your collection. Anything that kind of matches your eye tone or whatever you want, kind of a champagne, anything that's kind of a neutral skin tone color of yours. Use that, put it all over your lid, like I said. And next, I'm going to take a medium tone brown. This is Swiss Chocolate by MAC. I'm going to take that same fluffy blending brush, tap it in there. One tip I want to say is never like blow on your brushes. I've seen my girlfriends before like blow on them, and that gives so much germs. And the number one way to transfer like sickness or any sort of germs is through the eyes. You touch something, you put it on your eye, and then you're screwed. So don't do that. Just tap it just like this. Put it over a tissue. Just don't blow on it. Don't put your mouth on Q-tips. Don't do any of that. Just tap into the color, tap on the side. I guarantee you it'll make your life a lot easier and you won't have to worry about getting sick, which I am kind of getting over cold right now. Pardon the and moving forward. So anyway, I'm going to take that medium brown and just in the outer thirds, kind of where we are applying that bronzer, we're going to concentrate the color and then kind of move it upward, almost in like a V formation. So just go ahead and add the desired amount. You might not want a whole lot. You might want a whole lot. So it's whatever you want to see. And I'm just going to add a little bit more because I want it to kind of be like big on the outside and bright on the inside. It's going to make your eyes look bigger, wider, and like you've had a lot of rest. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit more. Kind of blend it in with that windshield wiper motion. Next, what I'm going to do is take a very dark brown. You can choose however dark you want it to be. This is Embark by MAC. It is a beautiful, deep, rich, dark brown matte. I'm going to take that same fluffy blending brush. I'm just going to dab it onto the color all over. And in the same kind of circular V windshield wiper formation, I'm going to go ahead and blend that into the naked color to make a very gorgeous set of tans, nudes, and dark brown, kind of like a rich, smoky, natural looking eye. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the outer corner. The key to getting a perfect smoky eye is literally blending. I know that is something that is said so often in the beauty community, but there is a reason for it. And blending is so important. And I'm not trying to just go along with the trend, but if you're not blending, then you're not going to get the look you're wanting. And you don't have to shut your eyes to blend. You can look down and kind of raise your eyelids a little bit. And you're able to kind of see the area. Everyone has different eyelids, so everyone needs to blend differently. I go into a circle formation out here, windshield wiper in, and then just kind of come into the center of the eye. So add on as much dark, light, medium as you want, but this is about as dark as I like to go. I like to just kind of make it a natural smoky eye, like I said. So what you want to do is make sure that you're keeping clean brushes away from the shimmers and the mattes. At least have 2 blending brushes, like I said, one for shimmer, one for mattes, because you don't want to blend the 2 or you will lose that concentration of color that you're looking for. So next what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm going in with a clean brush, and I'm going to take in my Anastasia brow kit, and this is very, very dirty. I apologize. I'm going to kind of mix between the matte and the shimmer. And I'm just going to go right along the edge of my brow, just to add a touch of highlight, just to not only make my eyes look wider, to make my brows look more raised and up, and that's what we want. We want ourselves to look awake, even if we're not awake, because usually I'm not awake. So next we're going to go ahead and take some sort of waterproof liner. I like to take my NARS. This is NARS Larger Than Life. This is a black liner. This is the only one I've ever found to be able to work well in my waterline. And I'm going to go ahead and go under my eye and add color to it. What this is going to do is make sure that you get a nice full looking lash. Then I'm going to go ahead and just in the outer third, I'm going to add a little bit onto the waterline. And as you can see, what I'm doing is looking down. I'm not pulling and adding, because what that's going to do is pull down the eye. We don't want to pull anything on our face. That's just going to add more likelihood for wrinkles. So what I'm going to do is just look down and then lightly add on as much color as I want. My next step is taking the same eyeliner and I'm just going to press it into my lash line. So not drag it across, I'm just going to simply press it. And what I'm doing is kind of making a pressing and sweeping motion. Next, I'm going to take the most convenient eyeliner and that you might have in your collection. I love the Too Faced 3-way liner. I think it's great. You can create any sort of cat eye, thin, small, thick, whatever you want. And what I'm going to do is just go right over that cream liner and just kind of press the product into my eye. I'm going to do a very light, natural cat eye. I'm not going to do anything too high, not too low. I'm just going to do something that go along the natural. Like if you're going to take a marker or whatever you want, a liner, we'll just say liner, and kind of follow the natural curve of your eye. And as you get down here and you want to go up, think about where that would go. And then that's where you're going to want to move the liner. So it just makes it almost like an extension of your lash line. It'll make your lashes look fuller, thicker, and more beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of just go in the inner part. I'm going to go from the outer part to the inner part. Make a nice thin line. Pressing the product, like I said, into my lash line. And now when you get to the part where you don't have a lot of dark colors, you want to make sure that you're going to the outer rim of the eye because you don't want to darken up where you've already put in naked that lighter color. And what you want to do is just kind of flick out as your natural lash line would be. Almost if you're like drawing on an eyelash. So like I said, just take your natural lash line, follow it, and kind of just like pull out where you think that would be. And almost like you're drawing a triangle, you want to kind of flick upward and outward. So what I'm going to do is take that liquid liner and I'm just going to kind of rub it underneath the very edge of my lash line and take my ring finger and kind of smudge it. You can use whatever you want. If you prefer brushes, go ahead. But like, you know, fingers have a natural warmth to it, so it's always easier to do that. Smudging it in just to make the outer corners of the eyes look thicker and darker and the inner corners lighter, which is going to make your eyes look brighter and bigger, which is kind of what I'm going for right now. It's kind of that innocent yet sultry kind of look. So next what you want to do is, of course, curl your lashes. So what I like to do is start out at the root of the lash, right at the root, and kind of like pulse the curler, and then in the middle of the lashes, and then at the tip. And what that's going to do is give it kind of like a three-way curl, which is going to give you maximum curl. So after you've curled your lashes, go ahead and take any mascara that you want. I preferably love their Real by Benefit. I know people are like kind of in a love-hate relationship with it, but I am in a love relationship with it. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and start at the base of my lashes. And I'm going to kind of wiggle the wand and twirl it. So I'm going to kind of twirl in between my fingers and wiggle it. Oh, wiggle with it. And usually after that, I like to go on the bottom lashes because I don't like a whole lot of practice. I don't like a whole lot of product on my bottom lashes, so I'll just kind of like put a little bit on the outer lashes and same on the other side. Just a little product on those lashes. And I will take more of the product. And what tip I want to give you is do not go like this. Do not get your mascara off. That's not what we need. What we want to do is just kind of like put it in, pull it out, sexual, and just kind of like take the excess product off the tip of it. And that will get the perfect amount. Ideally, we want to clean the wand off every time, but not a lot of us. Make sure you take that part off. Have time to do that. So just adding another coat. I usually like to add about 3 coats of mascara to the top lashes. So next I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. Brows are obviously the frames to the face. So what you want to do is take either a cream or a powder. I have been loving the Anastasia brow palette. Sorry how dirty this is. I promise I'm usually not that dirty. Just taking a angled brush, I'm going to kind of mix between the two. I'm going to go ahead and line the edges of my brows, move upward, making sure I'm leaving the darkest color on the outer edges of the brow and the lightest in the inner, just so it looks as natural as possible. Kind of making sure that I am blending it inward. Whatever shape you choose to do for your brows is up to you. I usually like to do something nice and like delicate and light. So now that you finish your brows, all that's left is lips, and you can do any kind of color you want. You can do a nude, a dark. Because this look is not as smoky as most, you can take something like a nice kind of like mauve-y, rich kind of berry plum color and go ahead and put it on. I like to use kind of like a glossy lipstick. I don't preferably like glosses. And I'm not a big lipstick fan either, but I love Chanel's Rouge lipsticks because they're, you know, hydrating. They're pigmented, they're beautiful. NYX has a great version of them. So what I like to do is just take a brush. What I like to do is take on a brush, just paint on the color as nicely as possible. It's natural because it's not a lipstick, it's not a gloss. The beautiful Rouge lip balms by Chanel, they're wonderful. NYX makes a great version. I think Revlon makes a really wonderful version. I'll leave links down below for really great alternatives if you're not wanting to use Chanel products. But anyway, this is the look for my everyday makeup tutorial. As you can see, it's just a very natural, warm, kind of smoky eye, nothing too intense, something that just kind of like accentuates what you have naturally. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the video. If you liked it, if you felt like it was still genuine, like Eau de Couture, or if it was like more Audrey, or if you guys want something different. I always want to do what you guys want, so let me know, like I said, in the comments below. If you do redo this look, be sure to post a, what is it called? A response video doing the look, or post a picture of yourself on Instagram, hashtag Eau de Couture, and I will be sure to look at it and love it forever. I'd love to see if you guys redo my looks. If you do, that would just like mean the world to me. For reals. So I will see you guys next time. Be sure to check me out on Hooping Live, hoopinglive.com, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!